Hey everybody, it's Rykard here again, back with another black and white Pokemon analysis. Today, we're going to be discussing the floating Pokemon known as Burungeru. So let's get started by taking a look at its typing, abilities, and stats. So first off, as you can probably see by the change in picture in the background, this Pokemon's male and female versions look quite different from each other. So it's just something cool I felt like making note of in this video. But Burungeru is a water ghost type, which is really interesting typing and is one of a kind. And this allows it to be very effective in terms of being a defensive Pokemon because of the fact that it resists or is immune to um, normal and fighting types and also has very little weaknesses, which are only to electric, grass, ghost, and dark, which is pretty cool. So and you get a bunch of resistances with this as well. So this typing of Burungeru is actually really cool. As to the abilities, the first one it gets is known as Water Absorb, which is a cool ability that makes you immune to water moves and makes it so that every time you're hit by a water attack, your HP increases by 1/4. So this ability could be of much use on Burungeru because of the fact that you're already immune to two different types, so having Water Absorb will actually make you immune to a third type, which is amazing and makes this Pokemon very capable of coming in on something that it will either resist or be immune to. Up next, we have a new ability known as Cursed Body, which is really cool, and essentially it works as a way to disable your opponent's attacks. Basically, every time your opponent attacks you with an attacking move, there is a 30% chance that that attacking move that it uses will be disabled. And that's always a great ability to have, and it's pretty much one of a kind, and it's great. I don't think this Pokemon actually learns Disable by itself, so having Cursed Body will definitely help this Pokemon be very effective in terms of being a defensive Pokemon because whatever move that your opponent used that might be super effective against you but didn't kill you might be rendered completely useless just by the Cursed Body ability activating. And lastly, we have this ability known as Damp, which is hilarious on this Pokemon because of the fact that it's a ghost type. And basically, Damp makes it so that self-destruct and explosion do not occur. So if your opponent uses it, it will fail to work. So you'll be alive, you won't take any damage, but they won't explode or self-destruct. So it's really kind of stupid to put it on a Pokemon that's already immune to self-destruct and explosion. The only place where this ability would really have any sort of use would be in teams or doubles or something like that. So pretty much you won't be using this ability in singles at all. As for its stats though, it has 100 HP coupled with 70 defense and 105 special defense, which is really good defenses actually and can prove to make this Pokemon a very defensive Pokemon. As for its attacking stats though, 60 physical attack really isn't going to amount to much, but 85 special attack is actually pretty good. Unfortunately though, this Pokemon doesn't learn any stat boosting moves to either of the attacks, so for the most part you're going to be a defensive Pokemon that won't be doing a lot of damage on the special or physical side. And lastly, its speed is at a pretty average, I guess, 60 base, which means that this Pokemon won't be that fast, but it can outspeed other Pokemon that obviously have lower speed than it. But that's it for the stats and abilities and typing, so let's get started with the moves sets for this video. So this first set focuses around being bulky in both the physical and defensive areas while also being able to deal damage with your decent special attack. So first we're going to give Burungeru a modest nature to increase its special attack but lower its physical attack, and then we're going to be using the ability Cursed Body so that we have a chance at disabling your opponent's attacking moves. As for the EVs, 252 are going into HP to max that stat out, 96 into special attack to give you some decent special attack to work with, and then 160 special defense to make your already high special defense even higher. As for the item, since we are being quite bulky, we're going to be going leftovers to increase our HP a little bit at the end of every turn. Now, as you saw in the base stats before, its special defense was significantly higher than its physical defense. So in order to compensate for that, the first move we're going to be using in the set is going to be Acid Armor, which is an excellent stat boosting ability that will increase your physical defense by 2 stages. And after 1 Acid Armor, you're pretty much set for being defensive on both the physical and special side. Along with Acid Armor, we're going to be making use of Ice Beam as its only attacking move, which might seem weird because you are a water ghost type, but Ice Beam will come in handy a lot, seeing as there are a ton of dragons running around in this generation, and also the return of Skyform Shaman, which has been brought down from Ubers along with Salamence and Garchomp. So after an Acid Armor, you'll be able to survive outrages and things like that easily, and then with the EVs invested into special attack and the modest nature, Ice Beam will be a sure hit, or will be a sure one-hit KO on the 2 most powerful and threatening dragons, and also do a lot of damage to Skyform Shaman as well, even though you probably will die from a Seed Flare before that happens. But as for the other 2 moves in the set, Toxic is there to allow you to stall out your opponents and not just be an attacking set kind of thing. And then Recover is obviously there to heal off any damage you take while you're setting up with Acid Armor or stalling out for Toxic or things like that. Lastly, we have a dual status set that I have seen a lot, or seen being used quite a bit. So first we're going to give Burungeru a Calm Nature to increase your special defense but lower your physical attack, and then again we're going to be making use of the ability Cursed Body. As for the EVs, this time we're still going to be using 252 EVs for HP, only 4 for special attack, and then maxing out your special defense with 252 EVs into that stat. And again, like in the previous set, we are going to be using leftovers. As for the moves this time, though, they're going to be a little bit different than the previous one, and meant to essentially deal some kind of status to your opponent, and then use Recover to stall out their residual damage from the statuses or your other attacking moves to deal damage to them. But first up, we have Toxic as a way to obviously inflict increasing damage upon your opponent at the end of every turn. And then after that, we have Boiling Water, which is a new water move that has a 30% chance to burn. So if you want something toxic, you'd obviously use Toxic, but if you want something to be burned, which would be like a potential physical attacking threat, you should go ahead and use Boiling Water as a way to hopefully get for that chance of burn. And once the Pokemon is burned, obviously its attack is decreased, which means that you'll be able to take more hits from it. And that's the reasoning for not putting any EVs into physical defense this time, because we're going to be burning it, so there's really no point into putting those EVs in there, since that'll be made up for by the opponent's burn. Next we have Evil Eye, which is a new ghost type move that increases, or that doubles its power when your opponent has a status. And since we are using Toxic to increase or to inflict status and Boiling Water to inflict status, Evil Eye is a great way to deal a bunch of damage to the opponent that is statused. And then, as I said before, Recovery is there to heal up any damage that you take while you are trying to wear your opponent down slowly with these different status moves. But that is about it for Burungeru. So I hope you guys think this new Pokemon is pretty cool. I love the typing of it, and I know that it's going to be very effective in like competitive battles and things like that. And I've seen it be very effective already, and I'm sure you guys have too. But that's it, so take care and goodbye.